but luckily authoring tools make it pretty easy to get these basics done every single time. So let's talk about authoring tools. There's a bunch out there, many. So why should you care? Well, SCORM matters if you're building content that tracks learner performance, you want to keep up with progress, and most importantly, if you know the learner is going to be launching it in an environment that is different than the authoring environment. There are plenty of learning products out there that have their own bespoke way to author, their own bespoke way to play, their own reports, and that's all fine if you're living in one siloed software application. But hey, most organizations have 25 or more learning products going at one time. But the reality is that most people live in an ecosystem. They use off-the-shelf authoring products to build a thing, and they deliver it to a different software suite known as a learning management system that we'll talk about here in a second. If you're purchasing off-the-shelf content and you just want it to work in your platform, SCORM matters right away. It's the easiest way to grab a course that will play and track the way you want in your existing system every time. We're also going to focus on SCORM for people who are intellectual property experts, that are subject matter experts, that want to deliver a very specific type of learning in the pedagogical approach they think is best to an environment that they're not really in control of. You can expect every SCORM course to do some basic things, to set completion status, pass-fail status, time, score, bookmarking, and interactions. It is up to the author to decide how much or how little of this to program into every course, but luckily authoring tools make it pretty easy to get these basics done every single time. So let's talk about authoring tools. There's a bunch out there, many of them are our customers, and I think you should find the one that suits you best for the type of content you're building. Much like if we're editing photos, you could get Photoshop, which has a million buttons to click on, or you could get Instagram. The right authoring tool for you is the one that your team is comfortable using. It's the one that fits the need. And if it's just a simple course, use a simple tool. But some people need advanced content and advanced learning and advanced analytics, and there are advanced tools out there for them. So I often get asked the question, which authoring tool is best for our organization? I genuinely don't know. What is it you're trying to accomplish? And finding the tool that your team is most comfortable using that fits their needs well is far more important than a logo. It matters for the one that gets you where you need to be. Every course should be a package that is severable from the authoring tool, and you should save it as the SCORM format that fits the LMS best. Every course needs to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and report that type of data back to the LMS appropriately. And this is a key part that I run into all the time. It's up to the author of the course. The author of an e-learning package saving out as SCORM is in full control of how much or how little of that data to send, how it behaves, what it looks like on the screen. All of that is there so that when they give it to an LMS, it rolls up into their standard reports without any type of custom data manipulation. On the other side of the coin, you have the learning management system. They go by a lot of acronyms out there, learning experience platforms, human capital management systems have training portals. There's a lot of them. And as the basics here, we don't need to get into all of those weeds, but generally speaking, an LMS manages learners, gives them a login, knows who they are. It manages a thing that a learner can do, a whole library of courses. It has general reporting, typical babysitting type of moments, time, completion, pass, fail, score, the things you'd want to know about your employees interacting with their assigned courseware. And I think it considers interoperability to be very important. The LMS knows it's not always the author of content, so it needs to bring in traditional e-learning courses. It needs to handle all of the live in-person training, AR, VR, XR. There's a lot of things that the learning management system keeps up with, including compliance requirements, retraining, certifications. An LMS is often more than an authoring environment. It's more of a management tool, but when you put an authoring product and an LMS together, you get a modern learning ecosystem that we see, and SCORM 1.2 continues to be one of the best ways to crawl, walk, and run your way into that type of environment.